Gentlemen, this first piece of knitwear I'm going to talk to you about was actually first invented for fishermen out on the boats. It was freezing cold. They really needed something to help keep them warm, and as a result of that, an interesting texture developed. Now guys, you probably already own a crew neck sweater in your wardrobe, but maybe you have a plain one. Maybe you're now into the old money aesthetic. You want to take things a step further. You want to make things a bit more elevated and more interesting. I really recommend, just like I'm wearing now, a textured crew neck sweater. Okay, you can get a bunch of different textures, you can get a bunch of different colors, but what's really going to make this stand out against a regular sweater is this added visual interest, but also this interesting texture to feel. You'll see this described as cable knit, or sometimes as fisherman too. The one I'm wearing right now has a more typical fisherman pattern, and I've got it in this nice oatmeal / beige kind of tone. I really like wearing this one. This one feels super nice to the touch as well. Okay, we've got some other examples now we're going to look at. Here you got one in a nice beige color. This is from Banana Republic. I like this one from LL Bean too. Olive green is a great color to incorporate into the fall. This one is from Express. Now, a more pale lilac blue, definitely going to stand out, especially in the fall. People aren't typically wearing this color. If you have blue eyes, it could give you a really nice pop of color. And dark emerald green is a really great one too. You'll notice in a lot of these examples, and I'm doing the opposite today, but a crew neck really is the best sweater to wear if you want to wear a t-shirt underneath. You can also wear a button-down shirt with it too. Now, a mistake I see a lot of guys wear sometimes, young guys, you're going for like a job interview, you're trying to dress up, but maybe you don't have a suit or a blazer, is to throw on a sweater like this with a crew neck and a tie. But when you do that, you can't really see the tie because your sweater is just covering it up. So guys, I don't recommend, if you need to wear a tie, opt for something else. The crew neck sweater is informal, it's casual, but it looks really great and you should definitely pick one up. This next piece of knitwear is a real old money staple, and it looks great with button-down shirts specifically. This is a V-neck, okay? Now, maybe if with your crew neck you have a texture, if you want to have a good interchangeable wardrobe, then with your V-neck you should go with something more plain. Look for materials like merino wool, that's a nice fine soft wool, or even better will be cashmere. These are expensive. One brand I really recommend, and I'm not sponsored by them, this is just my honest endorsement. It's called Spear and Mackay. I'm going to link to them in the description. I'm actually wearing one of them right now. I think this was about $100 for a real cashmere sweater, and it feels fantastic and it hasn't worn out in the slightest. Now with the V-neck, I really recommend that you wear this with a button-down shirt. Why? Well, you're going to see the collar popping out. That's going to really brighten up your face. One thing I love about a V-neck sweater is that it does create this V taper. It creates this nice silhouette, makes your shoulders look broader, it makes you look slimmer down towards the waist. That's a timeless, attractive feature that the V-neck really helps accentuate. In terms of the colors, your options are similar. Personally, my V-neck sweater is in a navy, and what I like to do when I'm wearing a V-neck with a button down is that I like to roll up the sleeves over the sweater too and show off a bit of the cuff. I'm also doing that with my crew neck sweater today. So that's one real nice thing about when you wear a button down shirt with your sweater. You get to show off a pop of the cuff at the bottom too, and that really shows off your forearms, accentuates your hands, which is a very attractive thing to do. Now, a sister to the V-neck sweater is what's known as the cricket sweater or a tennis sweater. I think by this point we're getting more into optional knitwear. You definitely don't need to own one of these unless you're really into the preppy aesthetic. If you want to look preppy, then this is a must-have. Generally with the cricket sweater, you have two options. You can either get it in white or navy. And what makes it distinctively a cricket sweater is that you have these colored bands around the cuffs and around the V-neck collar too. These are called the cricket sweater, but they were actually first worn on the ski slopes. Then it evolved into becoming quite popular on the golf course. That's now gone quite out of fashion for golfers. You'll typically now see people more wearing this just for style purposes out on the street. Maybe if you're going to play tennis, it's something you might throw over your shoulder walking back and forth to the court. Now, if you are just wearing this for style purposes, I would say wear it with caution, okay? It's a very strong look. It's a very preppy look. To me, it just communicates that you went to private school. So you might not actually want to send that message. Some people don't like the image of those types of people. Just be conscious of the history of this item. Obviously, because of that, it is a very old money looking thing, but this is a much stronger look than a V-neck or a crew neck, so just bear that in mind when you're picking one. For me, I don't wear one of these right now. If I were going to, I think that a navy one is more of a toned down look. It looks a little bit less preppy. I really like the navy with the white bands around the V-neck, so that's probably what I would go for, but this one is optional. For old money guys, you might consider this essential. Now, what is one of the worst things about wearing a sweater? What I really hate is you go outside and you've got it on and you feel nice and warm and cozy. Then you go inside to an office or perhaps to college and they've got the heating on and you start to feel all too warm and itchy and uncomfortable and you want to take it off, but then you try and take it off and your shirt comes up and everyone sees your stomach. Guys, if you're going in between indoor and outdoor environments and you might want to take your sweater off, what I think is a perfect solution is the cardigan. Now, some people might think of a cardigan as being more feminine typically, but I don't think this is the case at all. And if you want it to look extra masculine, I suggest that you wear something with a texture. This can look pretty rugged in my opinion, very stylish, especially when you have the big chunky buttons and you have the big shawl collar too. So you notice that's going right around his neck. That definitely creates an interesting silhouette. There's something really cozy about wearing a cardigan, and it makes me feel like I want to sit by the fireplace and smoke a cigar on a winter's evening. So for that reason, I really love the thicker, more textured cardigans. If you want to wear a cardigan more formally, however, you might want to go with something which has a thinner texture. That way you can wear it with a tie, and you also have the option to throw your blazer over the top of it. One serious word of caution about cardigans: don't wear this with a t-shirt. In this case, I think it does look very feminine. You'll see the guy is also wearing quite a thin cardigan with a casual outfit. To me, this doesn't look very structured. It looks quite frumpy. It looks like you're an art teacher. And if you're watching my channel, that's probably not the message you want to send. The other two options are completely optional in my opinion. And personally, I don't like these two, but I know a lot of guys do, and I think they look good on some guys, so I want to talk about them. The first one is the quarter zip. This is more of a modern invention. It does feature that zip up around the collar. One advantage is that it does make them a bit easier to take on and off, and it makes them a little bit more breathable. It looks good with a collared shirt, but the reason that I don't like this is that this is pretty much now the universal uniform of what is known as the finance bro. So if you wear a quarter zip, especially with your button-down shirt, just be aware that you are projecting that image. Some women like that look. Personally, I think it's terrible. And the last one, I don't not wear this because I don't think it's stylish. Unfortunately, these just don't suit me. The roll neck, also known as the turtleneck, it's very hard to pull off. On guys that it does suit, I think it looks great, okay? So here the sweater goes all the way up to your jawline and you can get different textures, different thickness here. Now with the more casual outfits, I think that something more rugged and thick like this looks really good. For something a bit more elegant, a bit more sleek, then black can look quite good with this. You can also get different textures. But what I really like about the roll neck is that it actually looks pretty good underneath a suit or a blazer, especially if you're wearing a checked blazer like this guy is in this photo. I think the roll neck underneath looks really elegant. The colors and the textures really complement each other. So if you're looking for a way to dress up in the fall or the winter and you can pull it off, a roll neck really works. For me, I haven't quite figured out why a roll neck doesn't look good on certain people. I think if you're a really tall, skinny guy, sometimes it can make your neck look too long. I think if you're a bigger guy, it can actually look really good for you. I also think it looks really good on some in-shape guys who are more average height. Sadly for me, it's just a no-go, so I will never get to experience the joy of wearing a roll neck sweater. Women do have quite mixed opinions on these. Some girls might think it looks very dapper and elegant. Some girls might think you look a bit like a spy when you're wearing it. So just be aware, again, this is a divisive style choice. Guys, I hope this has helped you get some ideas together for how you might want to wear knitwear and some of the differences between regular knitwear and things that fit into the old money aesthetic. I think you should definitely focus on the textures. You want to focus on the different styles and how you can wear those with different shirts underneath. And as we come into the fall and the winter, look for colors like oatmeal, brown, olive green, grey. They look really good. They probably complement the shirts that you already own, and you can pair those and create loads of different combinations with just a few pieces.